Supersonics money transfer ñu ngi ci ànd ak yéen ak yónneekaay xaalis bu gën a màgg ci Gambia mën nga jot xaalis fépp fi nga ne bàyyeekoo kaatong ba koy na te doo ci am benn jafe-jafe waaw mën nga jot xaalis bàyyeekoo ci sa ay mbokka ak am di jàmma nekk ci UK Europe US Canada Switzerland ak àddina wërngal képp ak suñu yónneekaay xaalis bu màgg bi nga xam ne dafa wóor gaaw te noppale fii si biir Gambia Supersonics money transfer ñu ngi ci ñetti fukk ak ñeent dëkk si biir Afrika ngir jox leen melowaay yu gën si jotum xaalis bi nga xam ne kenn du ko laam-laamee saytu leen ñu si Google Play Store wala App Store ngir mun a bindu si suñ app bi di Supersonics money transfer app ndax ngeen mun a bànneexu si suñ money transfer services yi ay mbégte rek la ak Supersonics.
Yes, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Hello.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Malik, lo stress boy, yang maragal lo de. Real tuti mana? Ana hedulo. Te dohal lo.
Example of this. If we track this cable, this is going on.
Yeah, Sheikh, how are you?
Fine.
I'm doing good.
You're doing good.
Yes.
Congratulations to you. I saw your Quranic recitation. You did well. I was watching it here with my mom, Barkidemba. To keep that up, okay?
All right, thank you.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at the time and it's 1 minute to 4 a.m. Last week, I complimented all of you for being here on time. I want you guys to please understand that it's not fair on me. I was up the same time yesterday to be in the meeting and have the class with you guys and be in the meeting with the minister. And today too, the same thing. So it's 4 a.m. and that's not fair to me. For Master 10 a.m. it was just to accommodate you guys, just because I didn't want to get you guys to come here so early at 9 o'clock. Might have been a little practically impossible, and that's why I said let's do 10 o'clock. So I make the sacrifice. I want all of you to please cater for it. We were talking about doing research last week and the importance of doing research and how to do research. A few minutes ago, I was trying to use Mohammed Bai Garmi as an example. I said he called me and we were talking about a potential project he can do. He told me that in Senegal, there are some medicines that came into the country and they didn't know who brought them into the country. So he was going to go and ask the public's opinion on that. In my conversation with him, I made it clear to him that yes, it's important to get public's opinion. But as journalists, we should not only rely on the public's opinion. I want you guys to write that down. As journalists, we should not only rely on the public's opinion. As journalists, we should not only rely on the public's opinion. As journalists, we should not only rely on the public's opinion. And who can tell me why that is so?
Do you say it? Maybe the public might not tell you, might not know the truth about the particular. Yeah.
Any other try?
Say speaking, Mr. Joof.
Okay, say.
Maybe some of them might not know exactly the source of the information. They will always be like, I had the rumor, but they don't know exactly what the issue is all about. They just speak their mind.
Okay, they just speak their mind. Good one. Any other try? Where are the guys? Hana Hedule and Fal Mansour. Why are you leaving it all to the women, man?
Mr. Joof, maybe do it, maybe they may not provide actual information. And for example,
Your name?
Tijan Bali.
Tijan, yes. You say might be what?
Yeah, maybe they may not give vital information about the particular side about maybe, especially if their siblings are involved in a crime bill, in a crime that you have been investigating on.
Okay. Any other thoughts? Yes. So the three of you who spoke, you are actually right. The public may not know the facts around whatever you are investigating or you are discussing. But is the public opinion important? Very well. It's very, very important. But it should not be the sole thing we rely on. We should be able to engage experts. We should be able to engage folks who are involved directly. We should be able to involve those who know about the particular subject or thing we are dealing with rather than just getting the public to give us their opinion. So that is why it is very important that we know how to do research and we use our uh, inverted pyramid. That we last week we discussed uh, doing research. So today we are going to connect it to something we call the inverted pyramid. Inverted pyramid. INVERTED. Pyramid. Any of you ever heard of the word inverted or the phrase inverted pyramid?
No.
It's a journalism term.
Yes.
Yes.
Any of you ever heard it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. What does the inverted pyramid? Who is talking?
Sling pulley.
Oh, so she's finally here. Okay, I asked for you multiple times. You were not here. Okay. So what is inverted pyramid, Slim?
Ah. I forgot, but I know I learned it.
Yes, you see why Gambian talent is important?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, you're
Okay.
right.
Anybody else wants to try? What is an inverted pyramid?
Uh, it's your 5 Ws and one hit.
Now, who is talking?
One hit.
Oh, Koto. Okay. You say what?
I guess it's your 5 Ws and one hit.
Your five doubles and edge. Okay. Anybody else wants to try an inverted pyramid?
No idea, Mr.
Okay. So when we talk about an inverted pyramid, it is the way in which we prioritize the information we are given when we are presenting a story or a report. The manner in which, remember, what did I say when Ida asked me, what did I say is today's topic of discussion? Yes, prioritizing, whichever you call it, but prioritizing. So when we are reporting or writing a story, whether for broadcast or for print media, whether it is for radio or for TV, we should be able to prioritize using our inverted pyramid, which is the way and manner in which we report the information we are getting. We should put them out according to how they are important. And that is where using your five doubles and edge, of course, came in. Malik, you have a little bit of Koto, you have a little bit of that because you need to use your five doubles and edge. By reading your first statement or by listening or watching your first statement you make, people should be able to know what you are talking about. They should be able to have a glimpse what is happening, when it's happening, why it's happening, where it's happening, and who is making it happen. You need to report information according to how important it is. I said this topic was inspired by the meeting that you guys had with the minister yesterday. Do you know why I get that inspiration from that meeting?
No.
Any of you can guess? All of you were at the meeting yesterday, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Alasan.
Yes, Alasan, why do you think I got inspired, or I think it's necessary to discuss prioritizing as a topic today?
Because of his history, before he became a minister, the way he got and how it was about his schooling and how he suffered before he succeeded.
Okay. Anybody else wants to try? Why did I choose this topic as a result of the meeting we had with the minister yesterday?
Mr. Joof,
Uh-huh.
it's like he also spoke about
Who is talking?
it's Tian Bag.
Okay, Tijan.
He also spoke about specializing on particular thing if you want to be succeed as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
So I think based on that, it also it talks about prioritizing of whatsoever you want to do as an individual. But when I quote him saying that according to him also he mentioned like if you want it you can you if you really want it you go for it. Yes, this is what I can actually see from what he is trying to say, and then this is what I see why you have to talk about prioritizing.
Prioritizing. Okay. Good
Yes.
try. But the reason why I choose this topic mostly doesn't have to do with what the minister said or did, but instead what some of you did. And you were not wrong. You remember at the beginning of the meeting or right before the minister came in, Fatsamba was like, we need to, um, uh, Fatsamba was like, we need to uh, ask people to see the questions that people are going to ask. And what was my response to her?
You say no.
Yes.
You said people can ask questions based on what they know, and also you're not going to censor any person.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
people can ask questions
Hmm.
anyhow and what
Hmm.
they feel like to ask the minister because he's in a position of answering questions.
Yes. I did not want to censor anybody, and that's something I meant. And did I censor any of you?
No.
No.
Yes. So if I didn't let that happen, if I censored any of you, we wouldn't be having this class today. By giving you the opportunity to ask the minister any question that you guys wanted to ask, I'm able to spot out the fact that people are not able to prioritize. And it's very important as a journalist for you to be able to use your inverted pyramid in order to prioritize when you ask questions, when you do interviews, when you are presenting something, especially a time bound thing. The minister ended up spending 2 hours with us yesterday, which was a good thing. But guess what? His agreement with us was 1 hour. He only gave us 1 hour. Ben na waxtu rek lañu mayoon. Ayen so montoro wati kilindoro nela ay wole sotono. So Chikatan Yala, Mujena Modef 2 hours with us. Now, if the minister only had 1 hour, and some of you were asking him questions, what is his title? Minister of what?
Youth and sports.
Hmm. Some of you were not asking him questions on agriculture and other things.
Yeah.
Is that his ministry?
No.
No.
Do you think he will have much information about agriculture?
No.
Were we not just wasting a lot of time if we wanted to know about youth matters and things related to youth and sports and things that he is in a position to answer?
Right.
Yes.
So when we do things, we should be able to use our discretion to prioritize based on needs and importance. Suñu def dara liggéey bi suñ ko def as journalist dañ war a def suñ kéemtalaay kàttan pour gis ne prioritize nañ maanaam segga nañ things yi niñ gën a importante niñ gën a fese nim gën a amee solo ñu laaj loolu ndax soo laajee nit loo xam ne mënut koo tontu benn waxtu rek la am they only have 1 hour ay montoro waati kilindron ne soto iya ñininkar do la me alon ko jannite be futala ila ñininkar kummayaringol to waya tara ala wato banta bala nga àgga yow si laajte yu am solo yi fekka moom waxtoom jeex na whose fault is that
Our fault as a
if
journalist.
you are about to interview somebody that is accused of killing someone, right? Or let me give a typical example, the current hot cake, which is the allegation about UDP drugs being found in a UDP pickup truck. You guys must have heard about that, right?
Yes.
That there are allegations that there are some drugs found in a pickup truck owned by the UDP until the Secretary General and the party leader, lawyer Usainu Dabo, ANM Usainu Dabo, held a press conference to debunk that and explain the circumstances around this. Now, if you are given an opportunity to interview lawyer Dabo and your main focus is to ask him about this drug-related issue, you go to lawyer Dabo instead of asking him this question, you want to go and ask him so many questions about itodung ibota mintole fan nga judo fan nga yero fan nga jange bi nga nekkee lawyer bi nga nekkee makati di laajte yooyu noonu yëpp and you only have maybe 10 minutes to ask lawyer Dabo. You want to have 25 questions to ask lawyer Dabo and 25 minutes finish. Will you ever have the chance to ask that important question?
No.
Okay. So what do you think is the best way to go about asking questions or doing things as a journalist? What is the best way to go about it?
By doing research.
Okay, fine. By doing research, one important, yes. But if you after you do research and you have your questions or you are approaching the person, how should you go about it?
By prioritizing the most important question that you have to ask the person.
Yes. You can always have some follow-ups. You can always come to the other issues. But you should make sure that you do your best or make a concerted effort to make sure that based on the little time that you have available, you should be able to discuss or ask the questions that are important to what you're doing. If I come here today and I tell you our topic of discussion is prioritizing, and I take and we only have 1 hour, and I take about 45 minutes to discuss research or to discuss another topic, what the job comes with, and all of that, will I do justice to prioritizing?
No.
Yes.
No.
So if you are doing a show, any of you is doing a show, and you choose your topic, like in the case of Bintu Singate Kunun Nimbi, she's supposed to do a show to talk about how kids used to dress yesterday and how kids dress today. Then she comes in there and talks about a football match yesterday and today. I mean, will she do justice to her topic?
No.
Yes. Another way to look at it when you are prioritizing is not only about asking questions. I mentioned asking questions is important. You should ask your questions and make sure that if you have 20 questions, you do research. As Isatu Koli said, yes, it's fine and it's great, and I've said it. Do research is very important. But then when you do research, you are supposed to be able to do enough research to have enough information. If you have 25 questions and you only have 1 hour, you should know that you may not be able to ask all the 25 questions. So prioritizing will involve you cutting down those 25 questions and take maybe the 10 most important ones that you know that you really want to ask this person. This is somebody that you have been looking forward to interviewing for the longest. You've never had the chance to interview the person. Or in the case of the president, for example, or UN Secretary General, or all these high dignitaries or high profile people, barely can you have more than 1 hour interview with them. I've never interviewed President Barrow. Cey suma jakarlo nak mom. Ninna benta. I have so many things to ask the president. But can I ask him all of those things if I am only given 30 minutes or 1 hour?
No.
So I need to be able to prioritize. I can ask him so many questions from his pre-presidency days. to when his 2016 campaign promises, to his 5 years that he's been in office, to certain key issues or things that happened during his presidency, to the formation of his party NPP. So many different things happened during the course of the last 5 years that the president can be engaged in different sectors of governance, from justice to I mean to the judiciary, to health, to education, to sports, to education, you name it, environment, every sector. There are so many things he can be asked, but one would have to prioritize. And prioritizing may also involve looking at current issues and realities. Lu passe na. Men tambita, you can always dig it and bring it back, but you should do your best to also relate to current issues. For example, current happenings, for example. We talked about improvisation last week or week before last. We talked about research last week. If we are improvising, munga dembe am topic, gawara discuss, and it still comes to prioritization. These things we are talking about are all linked, matter of fact, because munga dembe am a topic, gene linga discuss, this is what you are going to do. And it has happened to me on so many occasions where I came up with topics, lila wara def research and everything. Last minute, in fact, I scheduled guests to have them for an interview. Last minute, something happened that changed that entire dynamic. Like somebody died, and I have to change my show to a tribute show. Change my show to a tribute show. Like people being released. I remember doing Luther Gambia to them show, and I'm not talking about right now. Taimi Yaya Jame. I did Luther Gambia to them show. It's the longest serving show on the Gambian talent platform. Now I'll be starting to do quiz, so I'll be teaching you guys on some key things about Gambian talents. So I'm telling you right now, this is some history, and I'll be asking these random questions. The longest serving show on the Gambian talents platform is Luther Gambia to them show. So I want folks to remember that and write it down. The longest serving show on Gambian Talents Promotion is Luther Gambia Rudem Show. So during Yaya Jame's time, there was a day that I was supposed to do a show. I have very important topics and guests that I was supposed to have. And this day happened to coincide with him releasing the day before. I've been planning the show for the whole week with the guests. And guess what? That Saturday or Friday, he released the prisoners that were the political prisoners and a lot of people that were incarcerated. This is when Lantombong Tamba was released. This is when the Bunsanes were released. This is when Modugay was released. And a lot of the political prisoners, Nyim Akison Sindur Cham coup d'etat, and a lot of other political prisoners, Nyom Balo Kante, who were part of the Farafenya 1996 coup d'etat, a lot of political prisoners, he released them. I have to change my show and talk about that issue. In 2016, when UDP had their standoff at Fas Njagachoy, I remember doing the same thing. I changed my show. Right now, Nyungchi record. Some of you would think, okay, well, I need to stop my show. Especially those of you doing entertainment, the Sainabus, the Mariama Fatis, the Tisaos, and others. Think, oh, well, Nyungsito record, doing deaf show on record. There is nothing like that. You can modify your show, and it is part of improvising. It is part of prioritizing. You can have a topic to discuss until last minute. You should be able to prioritize based on what is relevant, based on what people will be ready and willing to listen to watch, based on what is relevant. If we are in Vericor, you should be able to improvise and prioritize based on the fact that, yes, it's Ramadan, and it's important that you consider the fact that we are in Ramadan. Okay, time me one tear. What are some of the things that happen? Wouldn't it be appropriate to talk about one tear? So you need to be able to improvise and prioritize your shows based on needs. prioritize your questions based on needs. The minister sitting down yesterday, he is the Minister of Youth and Sports. We have the option to be able to ask him about this. And instead of asking him questions about this, we want to ask him about agriculture and other things that he has little or no knowledge about. So I want folks to be able to remember these things. It's okay because you didn't know. Hamulen won. So for those of you who did it, don't feel bad. That is why you are here at Gambian Talents. That's why we are teaching you. As Garmi always tells me, and I always remind you guys, and I want all of you to take that approach from him. What did I tell you? He tells me when I teach him something. Yes. Duma koko musawahat. I want the same thing to apply to you guys. So it's not a crime and it's not a shame that you didn't know and you asked the minister questions that were not relevant to his ministries, questions that he could barely answer for you. Because munu len say wax lu bari dafa taxale dafa bit about the bush, he will try to leave wala mu jema use common sense to answer without giving you facts. So if it is facts you want, what should you do? If you really need answers about agriculture, what should you do?
Go directly to that particular person.
Let's not talk in chorus. Whoever wants to talk can announce your name and talk. You all will have a chance. Can we do it one at a time?
I said to Cody, instead of
Koli, I heard Koto's voice first, so let me hear what Koto had to say.
By going directly to that particular person that the question is related to.
Okay, Aisaru Koli.
It's a similar thing to what Cotton said. It's more or less asking the relevant stakeholders with regards to that. Yeah.
Okay, I heard other voices. Who else had something to say?
Mr. Joof also.
Okay.
Okay, donc ko wara laaj si fànn bi nga xam ne si loolu lay yëngu.
Wow. Tegi. Now, Kanati, who else have something to say? Yes. So if you have questions about agriculture, for heaven's sake, go to the Minister of Agriculture and ask. Su fekkee ne ci wànna wér bu yaram nga laajte demal ci ministre bu amee wàllu wér bu yaram nga laaj leen moom wàlli ndaw yi ak tàggat yaram la amee kay nañ ko laaj ci loolu bala boo ñoo to aning am funding ke wala kuwo wala mo atla dinkirati al nga ñinin ka wala nin la fita jata kende abundalo na ngata jata kende am ministry nin la fita seno bundalo na ngata seno ministry. And it takes me to what I always say, how lazy we are as Gambian journalists. We want to sit at our comfort zone or we want to rely on the phone. I fight with all the journalists at Gambian Talents about this all the time, including you, Aisa Tukoli. Yen talk, nekasi send telephone, ibuga for talk like gel telephone call. I call nako jotumako, send nako message. For heaven's sake, let's graduate from that. Let's get in a car. Let's walk. Let's take a trip and go down to them. New large land. New large land. Liñ buga large. Suñu tonto, fine. Suñu tonto wood. We are following what? All we need to do is what?
Following due diligence.
Right word I want to hear. Mung maji marab because dafa late. Mung maji marab. I hope you all know the word she just said, following due diligence.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Li ñu war rek mooy ñu gestu. Li ñu war rek mooy ñu make efforts. Li ñu war rek mooy ñu try pour jokku leen. Suñ ñu tontu wut loolu suñ toppatoo ñun nañ def li ñu war. Li ñu war mooy ñu laajte wala ñu make efforts jéem nañ leen a jokku. Tontu nañ ñu wala tontu wuñu lu xew exactly ñun loolu lañ war a report nte la kuwo momenti don wala nga kato ke kata kuwo ke kaje ko ni diamta wala nge reach out ni en jaabi iman jaabi wo manke na problem oti même munte la problem oti wala ko nge reach out le ntate normal en tate fele So let's graduate from sitting at our comfort zone, sitting at our office, using our phones. Call nako. Ham ya Gambia ko am place ndaw xajaan lay def. Moom mooy place ndin soto aka beben xajaanol la. Xanaa yéen sa Aïssatou Koli du leen dee xajaan léegi. Yeah. Ci lañ dëkk ku am place bu ndaw Gambia da nga nekk di xajaan niti. When there is no need for it. You make yourself busy and relevant so much so that important, so much so that moy lolo. It's not okay. It's the reality of our country. You make life hell for people when you are supposed to be serving people. We have a lot of public servants and people that in positions of authority who are always doing these things. But your role as a journalist is to make sure that you reach out to them, is to make sure that you have your things ready and set. Bul bañ ku la yakal ci gaali xaj bum la fekk nga see lekka. By the time you go to them and you are not ready, they don't want to talk to you. So don't give them any room or any excuse not to talk to you. And therefore, that is why it is important that you give them the right questions. I heard journalists going to press conferences, and we do this, and it's okay. But should we not focus mostly on the issues that are pressing, on the issues that are important? You go to a press conference, it's important to ask questions that are outside of what the person is discussing. True. But if you can focus on what they are discussing, first, that should be your priority. So all of you, all of us here should be able to prioritize when we ask questions. If you have 25 questions and you have 10 minutes, cut them down and ask the 10 or 15 most important questions or most relevant questions. Every question is important, true, but we should focus on the questions that are relevant. Every issue is important, true. You must not be bent on saying that I have to just discuss this issue. You can have a change of plan. Anything can happen and you change your plan. You can plan your show, put things together. This is what I am going to discuss. Agafi, agafele. The next minute you get there and things have to change completely for you. You can go to a place to shoot something. You get there and something else happen, you need to prioritize. We are talking about prioritizing here. If you go to a scene, okay, you go there for a mission. Let's say you go to the Serekunda market. You are going there to do a vox pop. Mola for you through, it's important. It's your primary reason of going there. If you stumble on a story that is very important, bohamne dan ko fate. Why would you want to keep that up? To fake any President Bignona, for example, to visit. This is an exclusivity that you may have. He came there unannounced. Yo yangi dem de laaj niti opinions. And President Bigno fofunono. This is a rare opportunity. So fekene you can always have people to ask, but the president is not always reachable. Don't you think you should capture that moment for the president or the moment that the president is there?
Yes.
This is exactly what happened with Fat Samba's interview with the First Lady. Any of you watch that interview?
Yes.
Any of you watch it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm only hearing Aïssatou Koli. Any of you watch Fat Samba's interview with the First Lady?
I don't watch it.
I watch it.
Okay. Well, I am encouraging all of you. It's an assignment, and I will ask you guys next week. I would encourage all of you to watch it. The way that interview came about, it wasn't planned. So far, I have not seen the First Lady giving an interview to anybody. So far, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. Has any of you seen her been interviewed by anybody? Fatou Babaro, can see and gisnak ko interview.
Yeah, I think
Huh?
yeah, I think I watched her interview with Ringer on QTV.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's why I said I have not seen any, but that's good. So if it happens, the bottom line is she doesn't just grant interviews. No. We in fact wanted to visit her during our road to Ndewenal last year. She never responded to that. So the way the interview happened with Fat Samba, her and Adam Asau and somebody else were coming from Bara. The show called Tamala that we have, the story of migrants, is what they went to shoot in Bara and Esau. They crossed the ferry on their way back. She called me a couple of times and we missed each other. So I called her back. We were talking. The next minute, as she was driving back on Independence Drive, she just saw her walking. Hame would kosa. She's like, oh, Kiru First Lady, it looked like her, lele, whatsoever. She slowed down. I said, if it is her, what is she doing? She's walking. Money, that's an exclusive story. Is there any media following her? She said, no. I told her to slow down and confirm. Mu slow down, confirm. Is this the first lady? First lady. Muholko. Because she was hiding, or whatever, she was being reserved. Mongisol living. I'm never the show of Nemom la first lady. She was just doing her normal walking routine. And Farsamba was like, oh, the first lady. Muton, and lucky enough, she actually recognized Farsamba. I was on the phone. She was like, oh, Farsamba. Ten boss, I'm going to Niko, oh, kon hamgama. And the first lady is like, Farsamba, kula hamudyo mupankami, or something. I'm on the phone. And Farsamba wants to just drive off. Oh, nice meeting you. Wow, this is very goodly. I told her, approach her for an interview or follow her. Approach her for an interview. Say, oh, Mr. Joof, nyungi sona, nyungi living because they were in Bara from morning all the way to that time. From Bara all the way to around 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. She said they are very tired. I said, this is an exclusivity. Nobody has this opportunity. I don't think you need to miss it. Mulako, namunam ko tahaw interview be na 5-10 minutes left. The first lady said, no, I don't, it's okay. She tried. The first lady said no. And I was like, you know what? If she's insisting, don't do it. But guess what? Follow her with your car. She's a public figure. She's in the public domain doing whatever. Be as far away as you can. Make sure that you are not infringing on her privacy or her security because she's been protected. Mungi andak ay soldar nyunko guard. Make sure that you are not doing anything that serves as a threat. You are not a threat and you are not a security threat to her, but capture her from a distance. Topalenko. They followed direction. Mone Adam again el camera, Adam took out the camera and they followed her. They followed her all through. Bari wahamrek as I tease her always that sa gaming bi lula lo am mola ko may way lo ñakata min mola ko xagn wax rek lay def idea mo drone no. And she started talking. Wow, first lady, I said make commentary as she's walking, describe the environment, what you are seeing, what is happening, whatsoever. Yeah, Sheikh, are you sleeping?
No.
Or are you reciting? Are you reciting some verses?
No.
Which verse, which chapter are you?
No, I'm not reciting. I'm listening.
You are not reciting Quran? Okay, so what did I just say? Who is running the camera? You are doing a wonderful job. Thank you for showing me your Sheikh. And all of them, I can see all of you now. Alasan, you are doing heck of a job.
Thank you.
Keep them coming. Zoom them in sometimes. Zoom them in. Let me see what each of them is doing.
Okay.
Yeah, Sheikh. Okay. Yeah, Sheikh, what was the last thing I said?
I lost that one.
Sheikh was sleeping or reciting. I caught you, right? I caught you. I didn't know Fulas are this smart, Alasan, nah? Yeah, Sheikh, please listen. So who can help me? Where did we stop?
Yeah, she was making commentary following the first lady.
Yes. So she was making commentary and talking to the first lady and making commentary. And she was like, wow, this is very rare. Gambia, we're here following the first lady. As you can see, she's here walking around. And she made reference to say the former first lady. A lot of Gambians used to say that she was cocky, she was pompous, dafa rëy, dafa diis. Waaw first lady bi fi nekkoon Zeynab Gambian su bari dañ dee wax ne dafa rëy dafa diis waaye kii gis nañ mu ngi génn di doxantu si mbedda mi du daan interact ak Gambian si waaye kii gis nañ mu ngi génn first lady lii la war a def and she was just making commentary. These comments, matter of fact, made people say ne that was a PR job dañ ñu fay pour ñu def loolu. Guy, you know, then you pay for new def lolo. We were paid for do that job. That was never a planting. And she continued doing her thing. Nabia, are you sleeping?
I'm
Huh?
not sleeping. No.
Okay. What was the last thing I said?
You said that. No, Monica coming the guy you know they didn't say and if I would have commentary on
Okay.
the last thing.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so please concentrate. Man Malen Gena Gumanto is 4:37 a.m. 4:37 a.m. So please, Bulen Def Lulu, please. Man Malen Gena Son again Lena Gumanto. If I'm not sleeping, I don't think any of you should be sleeping. Right?
Yes.
Yes, please. Yes. So people said we were paid to do that interview and stuff. But Samba continued doing the commentary. And I was on the phone with her. In fact, at some point, I assisted it giving her some tips. She did it all the way, the state house. And the first lady was hearing the commentary she was making. She was hearing the commentary she was making. And will continue doing what she's doing. Mema, you are conscious of the camera, right? Gis muy gëna ibi botami muy gëna hulli botami pour man la right. Imaja ka nyaayele nyamen ka itan na ko ndemantra sino la de. Ah? Anga jola ay tapale rek lañ mun. Right. Anyway, it's good, Alasan. You are doing a good job. Keep them coming. Right? Expose them. So we continue, and yeah, so she went all the way to Bunte State House, and the next minute, soldier in a Dunduga. And the first lady told them to let her in. And by the time they got inside, this was never something they planned. By the time they got inside, that's when I was like, okay, try to approach her for an interview. I got off the phone at that point, Fufu after Lulu Feke Omoko. But Mommy Dialame Nako Fufu, she's good at it. We tried to persuade her, and eventually the first lady granted her the interview. This is one of the best contents we had. This was an exclusivity. We never expected it. Expecting go on. Suma legi tonal tuti nak, it's okay. So then Alasan take a camera bi rek ngeen lifin. Right? But yeah, so she didn't expect Lulu, and it was one of the good feelings that we had because it's an exclusivity. So that's why it's important you prioritize Hamlan Lenyo Def. It's a rare opportunity. When you have a rare opportunity, you should prioritize it. You can go somewhere, and I'm saying all of these things for you to know. What is the topic of discussion today? Prioritizing. Yes, you should be able to prioritize based on relevance, based on importance, based on Louis Passe, based on something that you never had a chance to, and you have the chance to do so now. Right? So it's very important. Hey, ilah baso wartal de. Ta bobo libere na des moy. Yeah, time bi dem a good fen ngene hif bi la. Time bi dem a good fen ngene hif bi la. Oh, okay. Yeah, Sheikh, is there any surah you can recite that would keep you away from hunger?
That one more.
Maybe your Sheikh can help us. There is a surah that if you recite it, you won't be hungry. You don't know that one? Oh, okay. Any questions, comments, or concerns so far about what we are seeing?
Mr. Joof,
Yes.
I have a question, but it is out of topic. But
Okay, Mr. Ture, go ahead.
um, I watched an interview. A lady did with one part.
Who did?
A lady did with one part.
Which lady?
I forgot the particular lady, but
Here?
um, huh?
The lady is here at Gambian Talents?
I'm not German guys, but yeah.
Okay.
At the closing end of the interview, she asked one part, what were his last words? And one part's response were, I don't have a last word. I'm not dying.
Okay.
So my question is, in that kind of situation, can we do the improvise method with us by saying final remarks or closing remarks instead of final words or last words?
Yes, people will say that or oftentimes you bury then they joke lolu some people will say it jokingly to say, oh, I'm not dying, so I don't have a final word. You are right. Some people will say that. So it's left to you and how creative you are. As a presenter, you are expected to be creative. You can twist that question around. Even if you were to ask that and they said that to you, you can still twist it and say, okay, what are your final remarks? Or for the sake of this interview, mun nga faa yokka loolu. But these are conventional things that I always ask or recommend for my journalists to graduate from. Gambia, we are used to typical um, uh, 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 we have like ñëpp benn mbir mi lañ dee def ñëpp benn question bi la ñoo laajte. Everybody asks the same question. Bintu Singate, what are you doing with that pen? Hmm? What was I saying? What was I saying?
No, you were talking. We are talking about
Okay.
the question Mr. Fure asked you about the person that the journalist that took one pack. What is your final message or what is your last word?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my take is journalists should be creative. A journalist should not be dead. Is one of Fat Samba's favorite words. A journalist should not be dead. You should be alive. And she is right. You should be creative. You should be able to improvise. You should be able to look at things and assess situation be and prioritize. It comes back to all of that. But Gambia, ñëpp dañ am generic way of doing things, and I've been there with some of you guys or most of you guys. When you start your shows and you want to do something, each of you will ask, you want to go through the conventional way. Nakanga tuda, you want to do, everybody want to do a show in the office, in the studio, or sangu be nice set, living sanse be ye the mata yet boha netetu, and then you want to leave. Like Maria Mafati was looking a few days ago with her Fashion Avenue. By the way, I watch your show right here with my mom. Nama xale bi xale bu teey la. That's what my mom said. Right? Yes, you want to sunset and do all of these things. But at the end of the day, it is important that you realize that it's not all about that. You should be creative. Nakanga tuda, what is your name? Where do you live? How old are you? What is your educational background? These are generic questions that every Gambian journalist think they must ask in every interview. No. Be creative. Use a different perspective. They could be relevant. They may not be relevant. I expect people to be creative. I expect people to be able to improvise. I expect people to be able to prioritize your questions. How relevant are all those questions to Fekene? You are interviewing one like lawyer Usenu Dabo. I'm not saying that nobody knows him. If you are interviewing Halifa Saleh, I'm not saying nobody knows him. I'm not. If you are interviewing St. Birkama Boyo, I'm not saying nobody knows him. If you are interviewing Oh Boy, you are interviewing Ali Badara Humanity Stars. I'm not saying nobody knows them, but it's possible that folks already know this information, because every platform they go would ask them these questions. Can you not prioritize your questions and ask them the ones that are relevant to the current situation?
Yeah.
So that's where prioritizing still comes in. So, Mr. Ture, you're answering your question. You can ask it, but it's one of those typical questions that every Gambian journalist would ask. What are your last words? So you be creative around it. Be creative around it. I expect to see people doing different things a little bit. Right? Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Oh, concern.
Yes, Mr. Joof, it's good that you just buttress on the importance of prioritization.
Mhm.
Because yes, I could remember that the reason why some of our journalists fall out of track of this person is because the minister himself asked a question about how are we going to, what are the steps that we are going to take in order to bring development. I think there is where this discussion came in, and then he is giving chances for people to speak what they think will bring development. Yes, that is why some I personally I talk of this thing poultry farming and then the validity of poultry farming, and then some also talks about farming in particular. Some also are mentioning fisheries. Himself mentioned about that. Okay, but in the actual fact people that were asking questions personally like me, I have questions that I want to ask him based on agriculture, but I thought of myself that well this one is not minister for agriculture, so I myself personally that I draft my question and then I show it to Fatsamba that these are the questions that I want to before he came. These are the questions that I want to ask this thing the minister if I'm given the chance. So Fatsamba, there is where Fatsamba consulted you, and then you are telling him that he should give chances to we the journalists to ask any questions that is important or any question
Mhm.
that you feel is good to go.
Yes, so thank you very much for bringing that up. Just like I said earlier, um, it's good and okay you ask any question, but you need to prioritize your questions. If you have 2 or 3 questions, ask the ones that are related to his ministry first. Ask the ones that he can answer first. And what you just said inspired another perspective for me when it comes to prioritizing. If you are doing a show, another thing that has happened with me is me doing a show, and I want to encourage you guys to watch the different shows that I did. I've done shows in which I have a phone call, one phone call changes the entire or change the entire perspective of my show. One phone call, somebody just called into the show and they changed the entire narrative, the entire mood, the entire tone of the show, because you are talking about one thing. Somebody else just call and make a comment, and then everyone else now want to call and comment on that, and everyone wants to call and comment on that, and everyone wants to call. Thank you, Alasan. I see everybody is wide open. Gis lo awas o ngi ibi botam yi ci kaw. Yaa ngi def liggéey bi rafet na Alasan. Ñu gis awas o ak Salimatu suma ñaari pol yi ñu ngi ibi seen bot yi right open. Ñoom ñëpp ak ma teg seen ñambi yi fi mu nekk nii. Right? So let's say the minister saying that should not change the narrative. Those of you, the journalists, saying that one person asking a question on agriculture doesn't mean everyone else should come and ask a question on agriculture. mun ngaa nekk ci diggi show yaa ngi def émission yaa ngi waxtaanee dara loo xam ne lu am solo la the next minute am ko call laajte dara wala wax dara mu change the topic of discussion you need to focus on your topic because soo alawee ñooñu call sa téléspectateur yi naka lañ ko dee waxee sax naka lañ ko dee waxee téléspectateur right waaw téléspectateur waaw sa audience bi sa listeners yi sa viewers yi soo leen alawee they will dictate your show they will change sa show bi ni mu war a demee ibe la show falit ne and fekk amuloo time you have a very important topic ne oustaz nañ waxtaanee the importance of Ramadan njëriñi Ramadan keneen call dugal la si affaire yi xeex wala jëkkër ak jabar I'm not saying jëkkër ak jabar is not important but you must focus on your topic you don't allow people to distract you you should be able to prioritize and not allow people to distract you and people do this all the time if any of you has the chance to do a live show and you are accepting phone calls di ngeen xam li ma wax people will always call and distract you people will always come and tell you something Slim, what are you doing? I saw you, Slim, telling him not to take you. Take ko camera bi.
No.
Yes, I saw you telling him not to take you.
No, he always signals people that he is turning the camera on them. So that's the reason why I'm telling him no. Just move and go.
No, you were just doing your hand. However you were doing your hand, I saw you.
Yes, I was like, no, just move and go.
So why are you telling him to move and go? If you are in the class, he will take you. Kubugud mujel labul neka ci class bi.
No, just before he turns the camera on you, he always signals you like he's turning the camera on you. So I was like, Dede, just move and go.
You didn't say anything. You were just mimicking and doing gestures and gesticulations and actions. So you see, this is just in line with what I'm saying. Hamga mangle now, so if a live show, she just distracted us. She just distracted us right there. So gives me waste na 5 minutes of swing time. Right? Is exactly what I was talking about. When you do a live show, folks will distract you, but you need to stay focused and stay on point about what you are doing and what you are talking about. So it's very important that we are at that level. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Okay.
Alasan, take the full screen. Dama naan tuuti ndox ma lekk tuuti bala xeda bi di jot di passé so dama face suma camera bi so wanel ma students full screen let you just hear my voice in the meantime.
Okay, Mr. Joof.
Do you know how to do that, Alasan? I want to see them the full screen. Ida has left, right?
Yeah.
Ida has left?
No, she's around.
Okay. Call her real quick to change that. To change the screen. And Alasan, you learn how to do that.
I don't even know how to do it.
Every moment is a learning moment.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
You click it and drag.
It's just showing me now. Okay, I wanted to show them. Anyway, I wanted to show them. Wabahna, share the screen again so that they can show. I want to see them. That's fine. Somebody wanted to say something?
Yeah, Mr. Joof.
Uh-huh.
It's Parliament.
Okay, Parlamin.
Alright, like I don't know. Most of the times when I come here on Fridays, I learned that we always do journalism instead of videography, and I'm doing videography. It even takes me to a level that I'm even falling in love with journalism. And I'm doing videography. I don't know. I'm even lying down in love with journalism now. What is that? I don't know. So don't we have chance to have such classes like the videography students?
Yes, indeed. We actually had it, and this is why it is important for you guys to take things serious. We had a videographic class that
We are not getting you, Mr. Joof.
The speaker is off.
you are not getting me. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So what I was saying is, we had a videographic class that Musa and Ida Kebe were teaching. We had to stop it a few months ago because nobody was showing up to the class. And then by Sohla Yubari, we have so many projects to edit, so many places to go film and things to do. Ñu bàyyi seen soxla yi ñëw toog fii pour jàngal leen, and people didn't show up. So, in fact, last week when we had our management meeting, we talked about it, and this is exactly what Musa said. I asked, Aissatou Jallow brought it up to our attention, that the same thing you said, Aissatou Jallow said before she hibernated, that some people wanted to, some people asked that they are videography, but when they attend the meeting, the only thing that comes up is journalists on Fridays. And or it's like a regular discussion being there on the meeting we have on Wednesdays, and they want the class to change. So I asked them about it, and Musa repeated exactly the same thing, that he used to have the class and only one person will show up or nobody shows up. So mobilize your colleagues. We can pick a day that works, and certainly you can have your class. It's very important because you will learn a lot of things. A syllabus is there for the journalism as well as it is there for the videographers. And yes, it needs to happen. But Siyen Lades, you need to take advantage of what is available to you. The minister told you yesterday, and he was very right. Foog ngeen pare pour ñaxa, pare pour sonna, pare pour sacrifice, pare pour ñëw, because these classes are important. They will help to build you guys. It will help to strengthen your capacity. It will help to make you a better journalist. Right? I'm glad you are falling in love with journalism.
Yes, and I cannot cease coming to journalism classes now because it has already taken me away. I don't know.
Well, it's a good thing. Keep it up. Continue your videography though.
Yeah, I will do that.
Continue some videography. Buy a using microphone me. Right? So buge amak aisa to call problem rek lalal my gambi. Memuna Jaju, you are quiet. Let me hear from you. Kasumay?
I'm hungry, that's why.
Danga Heaf. Right now, yeah, Sheikh, is there any surah we can recite? Mandemang in the just my last minute bites.
Yeah, see the disappear.
Mangi just my last bites. Wala head be the pass. Mota ma face my camera be right? I'm eating my shawarma.
How are you?
Call me.
I said ko limu nga invite ko.
Invite mo ko dara. Mim dawe nono mo aida diga na leka rek lañ dede.
I like shawarma. Shawarma is my favorite.
Yes. So, any of you remember the inverted pyramid? What did I
Yes,
say it is?
it's a pyramid that consists of vital information. The most important one, the important one, and then the rest of it. Boko Helago, remember.
Yes. So the inverted pyramid is also called the triangular pyramid, in case you heard of it. It's also known as the triangular pyramid. It's called the inverted pyramid slash triangular pyramid. Okay. The inverted pyramid or the triangular pyramid. So it is the way in which you prioritize news and information to share. And on top of the list should be your 5 W's and H.
Yes.
Yes. So the Nyunglawa for the most part though for writers, but it doesn't only apply to writers. Most of you are in broadcasting media or the electronic media. So you use the same information and you improvise and relate it to the broadcast. So it's
Yeah.
very important that we prioritize the things we do as journalists. So ibinda nga binda sa correction si nga laajte ko in a way that am na foy tolu mu lifin. You see, experience is a good teacher. A lot of these things I learned them with experience. Mr. Joof would rek mu aga fim aga when it comes to some of these things. I learned them. I have interviewed people, ma commencé di la interview, di la laajte na correction si. By the time I start to be critical, laaj na la so many critical corrections. By the time I get to some of the things I want to ask you, you said no. I only have 30 minutes or I only told you 1 hour. Sidi Njai def namako. I started an interview with him. I asked him a lot of questions about the impasse and his relationship with Yaya Jammeh Nangam ak Nangam. By the time I realized it, I want to get to some other things. He was done. Kill na spiritam, kill na fayam. He wasn't ready to talk to me about some other things. ST Birkama Boyo did it to me. I interviewed him and I was asking him questions about him and his wife. He didn't want to answer those questions. Mukil spiritam. Any of you know Njai Mane?
Yeah, Germany.
No.
Any of you know Njai Mane?
I don't know.
Only I said good.
Okay. Njai Mane is a very funny guy. He is a politician, a former supporter of UDP, now President Barrow, then back to UDP, and now back to President Barrow.
Hi.
Yes, he's flip-flopping like nobody's business between UDP and President Barrow. Chuneke President Barrow, he calls Lawyer Dabo. He calls Lawyer Dabo, not Danko Drong grandfather, my Danko Drong grandfather. Right? But if he's at UDP, he says whatever he wants to say to President Barrow. I invited him and I interviewed him. He walked out of my studio. Two people ever walked out of my studio. My interview lane, New York, you walk out of my studio. He is one of them. Tafa jok si studio bi mu génna ñibi because I was very critical with him. Some of the questions I wanted to ask him, I didn't get to ask him because he left the office, he left the studio, he got up and he left. The same thing with, he used to be in Germany and he came back to Gambia. The same thing with Musa Ali Bachili. You all know Musa Bachili, right?
Nice
Yes.
names.
Yes. He also walked out of my studio because I was very critical with the questions I was asking him. So there are some that I didn't get to. So tobu marek ma aga fi ma aga ni tobu marek ma wax len li ma len wax ni, but it's important that you prioritize. Some of us might have made some mistakes. I don't want you guys to make those mistakes. So experience is a very good teacher. And I use my experience to guide you guys to shape up what you are doing. But technically, these are important things. The inverted pyramid is not something I created. It's a journalism term that has been there for God knows when. How long? The triangular pyramid. Using your 5 Ws and 8 to prioritize. It should be on top of the information. It should be on top of your news. It should be on top of your whatever you are doing. So not only the questions you ask, but also the type of show you bring in. So I need no wara indie. You got to make sure that you bring people based on relevance. If you have guests to interview, prioritize ban guest nga interview nilaraw. Typical example I will give you guys about prioritizing. You guys know the Semester Avenue show, right?
Yes.
Where is the Semester Avenue crew?
They're here.
Where are they? Can I see them?
Same number.
Yes.
Right. So when you guys go to the airport to interview people, somebody that is there, hello? Okay, it's like you guys are disconnected or gone. It's like you guys are gone. Hello? Hello, Alasan? Hello, Alasan?
If you want to receive monies from UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world, Supersonics Money Transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonics Money Transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonics Money Transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics.
Yes. Are we back? Are we back? I can barely hear you now, or I cannot hear anybody yet. I cannot hear if you are saying something. I cannot hear. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Is that Ida?
Yes.
Yes.
You guys better learn from her.
Yeah.
Soxlaam rek la xam dama ko wax ne cegam bi this month dafa oyof be su ko ngelaw bi fuufee sax mu dem. So dafa bëgg a duufloo cegam bi nii moo tax muy def all of this to impress me. dama ko wax ne cegam bi dafa oyof this month cegam bi du duuf dara. So she's trying to make up for it. So I was using the Semester Avenue as an example. If you get to the airport and you see a semester that is flying out, you see somebody that is there as who works at the airport, and you can always have access to them. Who should you prioritize? Wala ko hamne okay nyari semester. Kenaki is chilling. Yakamti Wood, their flight is not until 10 p.m. and they're not even supposed to check in now. Ako hamne their flight should be leaving very soon. Koko nge yakamti. They are both ready to grant you an interview. Who should you prioritize? Yes. Jainabu, do you guys ever do this? Do you ever use this principle?
No.
Okay, Mariama, hope this class will help you.
Yes.
The same thing when they come in and we are supposed to have the hangout with them, the semester avenue hangout. If somebody is supposed to leave, um, they are in Gambia and they are supposed to leave in 2 days' time, and the next person is here. Let's say it's a Friday today. Somebody is leaving on Sunday, and they are available tomorrow. There is another semester that is here, but they are supposed to leave um, in 1 month time, but they are also available tomorrow. Who should you prioritize amongst these two?
The one that should be living on school.
Why?
Because we're going to tell them, take the finance of 1 month. We will still have time to have the hangout with him or her.
Yes. So this does not only apply to Semester Avenue. All of you doing shows, these are important things to consider. If you have guests that you are to book, one of them is available right away, they need to leave or go somewhere, and the next person is going to be available for a long time. You should always prioritize the person who has a sense of urgency. If you go someplace, you are interviewing people, mu ora ne kena mungi fufu munna mo har. Wala based on mahama sah. And when I say mahama, nakalenjena important ante, not to say, let me not even use the word important. But of course, busy or nakalenjena ame responsibility, such as politicians, heads of places, etc. Wala nyalla nyiti gena buga setan or dega from. If you go to a meeting, you are there and you want to keep interviewing one person, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you go to an event. I'll give a typical example. When NPP was being launched, we had a whole crew at the stadium. For heaven's sake, Aissatou Koli interviewed somebody good 10 minutes or thereabout. When there are so many people, Kim don't interview, I have to text the office and said, can you tell Aissatou Koli to end the interview? Mu jàppa mic bi rek, xale bi jàppa mic bi rek bañ a bàyyi. Jàppa rek bañ a bàyyi. And there are other people, like the PPP party leader was standing. There are other people. Ñoom Fat Samba ñu ngee dem di jëli nit yi di ñëw, ñoom Aissatou Diallo to get people to come and then you listen. They couldn't stop her because she was live. The show was live. You should be able to prioritize. Ask somebody a few questions. There are politicians, big politicians, like the leader of the PPP party, other NPP members, key stakeholders. In fact, the Henry Gomez interview might never have happened, and that was one of the biggest interviews that we had until this day. That was the highlight of that event.
Yeah.
That was the highlight of that event, that Henry Gomez interview. Now, so Aissatou Koli yeexoon tuuti rek gars yi duñu am Henry Gomez fi moo waxee daxe ni sipa sipa. Dama ko déglu bay ree bay génnee rongoñ. I was laughing till I was my génnee rongoñ fonka kumbo fonka ñaaji yóbbande. I still can't have enough of it. It's therapeutic for me. Wax yu rëy yi Henry Gomez wax foofu. It's therapeutic for me. That video went on viral. The same thing with, yes, it was on Instagram, it was on Twitter, it was on Snapchat, it was on, especially TikTok. The same thing with Farsamba's interview with Bakso.
Yeah. Happy birthday. Wish you the same.
Yes. So those little things, you need to be able to prioritize when you are interviewing folks. So interview need nga gis, okay, yaa ngi dem to a GDC program. Yaa ngi interview niti fine ñoom nga gis, you are interviewing people. Su Mama Kandeh ñëwee summarize al ñi nga interview nga dem si Mama Kandeh. Summarize al nga dem si Mama Kandeh because mooy ndey mbi lagi. I would not say he's the most important person, but relevance foofu noonu dafa am solo. Because moom mooy the key person. Ñoom seen boppam moom lañ ñëw pour déglu. So these are very important things to know. You need to be able to prioritize as people. You need to be able to prioritize what you are doing. You should be able to assess the situation. Mr. Joof mënut leen a teach everything. Creativity ak yenn yi mënuma leen koo jàngal. being able to use your discretion munuma la koo jàngal yow yaa war a nekk si place bi nga assess the situation nga gis ne lii kat su ma ko defee lii moo gën lele moo gën man munuma la wax ne kii moo gën a important lii moo gën a important but one thing I want you to know is to have a sense of urgency. You need to write this down. A journalist should have and must have and need to have a sense of urgency. You need to have a sense of urgency. As a journalist, you should have a sense of urgency. And I want folks to tell me what that means. A journalist need to have a sense of urgency. Nabi Alan nga binda?
That's right.
The journalist who has sense of urgency.
Okay. Also, lan nga understand si loolu?
ok comme mooy journaliste da nga war a jël li nga xam ne loolu mooy li am solo nga tënk ko.
Salimatu Jallow, what does that mean? You should have a sense of urgency.
Danga war a am xel bu baax.
Hmm?
Xalaat bu baax. Danga war a xalaat bu baax.
Maimuna, what am I talking about?
Which man?
They have good
Okay, who is the other? Who is the other Maimuna?
The
You
new
know
one.
what?
I don't know. Okay, I've not been hearing the new one. I'm still trying to catch up. Which of the new ones?
She's here.
Oh, so that's Nene right there. Nene. Okay. Is it Bajalo or So
So.
or Bari?
So.
It's not Bari. Okay, So. Dangde nan So.
Bubasa. So we are
Okay. Oh, okay. How come gisuma labu bete? I didn't know you were here. Okay.
I'm not going to my car. I got that.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
what does it mean to have a sense of urgency?
Means something we don't want to come like xalaat bu gaaw daal. Danga war a dawal urgency.
Danga wara lan?
Danga war a dawal urgency. Comme like bu baax. Danga war a xalaat bu gaaw.
Okay. Now, Maimuna Jaju.
Sense of agency, in a means I understand. It's like maybe then what am that sense to be prepared every time because at any time look urgent will not happen.
Koto yolo wa? Koto?
From what I can say, sense of urgency means you have to be aware of the urgency of now, like present.
Okay. So when we talk about sense of urgency, we are talking about being able to prioritize things based on how urgent they are. Like pour nga muna make decision ne lii moo gën a urgent xaaral ma toppatoo lii because lii dafa passé lele du passé ñimbe tambila le ñin doote tambila comme li ma leen laaj ci gannaaw ku war a ñibbi ëllëg ku war a ñibbi Sunday. Excuse me? Was somebody saying something?
Yes, of course, it's Tijan.
You didn't ask me.
Okay, Tijan.
I mean, sense of urgency. It is the same as taking up an immediate attention, something that needs immediately, something that you have to attend immediately.
Yes. Yes. Something that you may need to. Yes, go ahead. Who wants to come in?
Sleep.
Okay.
A sense of urgency means to act promptly and with intention to make things happen efficiently and effectively.
Thanks to Google, right?
Yes, thanks to Google.
Stop playing with me, Slim, okay?
No,
I don't
oh,
expect you to be Googling. I don't expect you to be Googling. I expect you to do exactly what your colleagues are doing, using
okay,
your
now
discretion and what you think you know based on Lingaham or Lingafok.
well, okay, can I
I don't
try?
expect you to go to Google, okay?
Can I
Let's fix
try?
that. Let's fix that first. Let's fix the Google issue first. Let's fix it.
Yes, let's
Yes, you
fix.
can try, but before we try, let's fix that first.
Okay, listen.
Bandi woyoy baya man lo def lo bax ma ngeer ko. Wana len da ngeen a pen lu man maa leen gën a pen. Okay? Mu ne dem na Google nii ba foog ne moo fi toj. Su ngeen ko déggee xam nga yi la leen dee def rek su ngeen ko déggee Aïssatou Colley dafa bad. Hmm?
No, 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 no.
Well, you've lost some credibility. Now I will correction. Anytime you answer something, I will correction
Okay,
it.
my book, they stole it in this office. My journalism book was stolen in this office.
It doesn't matter. Thanks to Google.
No. All the questions that I answer is from that book.
Everything you answered is probably from Google, and I will make that judgment moving on until you prove me otherwise.
No. Google
Okay, fine. You need to prove yourself then.
Okay, now fine. I'll prove myself.
Hmm? And you guys already know you are all on camera and you've been watched. So the whole world is watching you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the class is live and you know that.
Yeah.
So suñ la gisee ñu la so la ni si seetaanee ñu ne Slim ki mooy xale bi dee dem Google always lu ko gaay laaj Google rek lu mu dee wax yëpp xamu ko Google la dee dem.
So you bet.
Okay.
You know,
Okay,
I have.
fine. Okay, now you can try. Go for it. Now you can try.
It's still talking about making things done immediately, things that are more important to execute or to do things efficiently. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it comes back to the same thing. You are looking at what is more important. You are looking at what is more nga prioritize. And these principles are things that one should be able to follow. Man, li ma leen dee jàngal fii wala a lot of these things are things that you should follow even in your daily life. In life,
Yeah.
nit ku nekk, every human being should have that sense of urgency, be able to prioritize things, be able to do things based on urgency, based on importance, based on relevance, based on need. And that's important, based on need. You don't just do things because dang ko wara def. You look at things, you assess the situation, you look at lan mo gëna urgent, lan mo gëna important, lan mo gëna relevant, lan moy gëna am njëriñ pour niti. Loolu yëpp si la bokka. When you are bringing something to the people as a journalist, remember our role as journalists is to do what?
To inform, educate, and entertain.
Exactly. Thanks to Google.
No! No! Now, Yanking is banging dog. Now it's not
Yes, I said to Google Collie. Exactly. That's her new name. Go to Facebook and you change your new name. Change the Slim to Google. Change your new name to Google. Her new name is Isa to Google Collie.
No!
Yes.
It's not.
So your role is to make sure that yes, you inform, educate, and entertain the people, and we should be able to do that in an efficient way. We should be able to do that with sense of urgency. We should be able to do that by being able to prioritize what we are doing. Okay, we should be able to do that based on what we are doing.
Patrick is speaking.
Okay.
Okay, as a journalist, you said you should have a sense of urgency. Can it be the same as like as a journalist you should be alert?
Yes, you should be alert, and being alert, of course, will by default activate that sense of urgency in you. If you are alerted, you are there and conscious of what is happening. You are conscious of your surrounding. You should always be able to change. And in fact, that sense of urgency brings me to a thing that happened here all the time. And Slim, I will use you as an example again, because oftentimes then I know more of a project. Just this week it happened on Tuesday. She came and we were having our management meeting. UDP was supposed to have a press conference to debunk the issue on this car issue, their vehicle that they said was the drug allegation. They were supposed to debunk that. I gave her an assignment, and when they asked her to go cover that event with Aissatou Jallo, she was like, "Oh, Mr. Joof gave me an assignment." They had to call her in the office to say, "Mr. Joof, yajo Aissatou call assignment." I said, "Yes." Well, they told her to go cover it. She's like, "But young major assignment." Exactly what I told her. My assignment, do Louis pass. This press conference was going to pass. Is not that not what I told you, Slim?
Yes.
Yes. So which one was more of a sense of which one has more sense of urgency? Which one was more urgent?
The press conference.
Yes, because the press conference was going to pass. It's a one-time thing that will pass. Mansuma assignment can still be done. Matter of fact, it's still not done. Right? Is it a do or die? But if we miss the press conference, we miss it. So in this office, you will encounter that a lot. Nganyo ngabuga def project, the next minute, we pull you out of that project and take you to another project. It's because we have made some assessment. We are alert and we've made some assessment and we realize that, okay, this is more urgent. This is going to pass. This is going to stale. Let's prioritize it. You can have a show still on the sense of urgency and prioritizing. You can have a show. I know all of you are obsessed with your show. Mariama Fati started her fashion avenue show, or whatever Senabu doing a prank, or Bintu doing Kunun Nimbi, or Yusufa Jata doing Dibankoto, or any of you that's doing a show. Nabia wants to do doing Tambambalo. So in the Bewara air Tambambalo. Mutombe besi Juli. At 10 a.m. in the morning, Lanwara air Tambambalo. And this happens to be basi Juli. So should we air Nabia's Tambambalu, or should we air the Julie at the prayer ground at King Fahad Mosque in Banjul?
The prayer.
Okay. So should Nabia toge for the joy because wow, so much should be air winko. What would that do? So that's exactly having a sense of urgency and prioritizing. We should be able to know what is most urgent, what is most important, what is most immediate, what is going to stale, lui passe, lolu yeb da ngeen ko wara xam when it comes to prioritizing. These are not things Mr. Joof can decide for you. Mr. Joof can only teach you the principle. Mr. Joof can only teach you the theory. And you are there, you execute it. You have your shows, you've been to the scenes, you've been to the streets, you've done vox pops, you've done coverages. You need to be able to know. So I hope moving on, if any of you is pulled from a project and asked to do another project, you will know that it's based on what? Yes. If you are asked to do a project, sometimes airport pour defi Semester Avenue, we realize, okay, we have something else to do. You know, no Semester Avenue today. Matter of fact, the past 2 weeks, Senebu and them didn't go. Because of what? They were involved in the Ramadan series that was being shot. So Sugai Demon, the Ramadan series, they have very important roles to play. This series will be same role being what plays. The series will not happen. We have Semester Avenue. It happens every week. There was nothing extraordinary happening at the airport. But very core bangenyo, the very core bit of our pass, right?
Yes.
What principle did we apply there? Sense of urgency. So Bindalenko, sense of urgency, sense of urgency, sense of urgency, and prioritizing. So bro, videographer. Your name again? Parlamin, yes.
Alasan.
Yes, so Parlamin at Alasan and all the videographers, yes.
I'm not hearing
We're
you.
not getting you. We're not getting you.
Yes, I said Parlamin and Alasan and all the videographers. Yentamit equally the same thing. Sense of urgency, some of these principles apply across the board. Like I said, in your life, personal life, dafa apply. Si liggéey bi dafa apply. So demee nga war a video, for example, yaa ngi amee ñaari battery. Instead of nga dem nekk di film an event, nga dem cover an event. Event bi door a gut. DJ baa ngi play music. Nga taal sa caméra bi. Nekk di jël rek. Is that applying a sense of urgency?
No.
Benn battery raada nga amee. Event bi mu ngi war a dem 5 hours 6 hours event. Fooguloo ne da nga war a nekk di jël tuuti wala nga xaar be li gën a am solo event proper bi door nga commencé di capture.
Loolu moo gën xaar ba event bi commencé.
Wow. So suñ leen waxee edit while shooting. Yeah, go ahead, Alassane. You wanted to continue. Go ahead.
Because da nga war a xaar ba programme bi start. Su starté nga door a dem shoot. Because xamuloo ne batterie boobu noonu ndax dina mën a saaf su nekkee ne commencé nga shooting balaa programme bi ndax dina mën a saaf loolu noonu ba programme bi yëpp. So it's better nga xaar ba programme bi start nga start di shooting. So su tee ba programme bi jeex booba mën nga jël côté bis.
Yes. So you need to be able to prioritize what to do. Whether cutaways nga jël, whether you are going to do interviews earlier, whatever it is that you are going to do, you need to be able to prioritize and look at what is more important, look at what is more urgent, look at what is more immediate, look at li passe, whatever it is that you are going to do. You work hand in glove with the journalists. And you have a responsibility too. So the journalist bi waxe kay mi def li ni. You are there for an event. Event bi doora good journalist bi buga nek interview every Tom Dick and Harry. Nima ko waxe nga baye len mic bi. Masi Sisao geek seyna bu so len joxe mic ñu tiyé ko duñ dé buga give up. They want to do interviews all through the event bi doora good. Yaa ngi wara dem live. For example, you are at Ovo's album launching and you are supposed to go live, or you are shooting a gamo or a prayer or whatever it is, and the actual event haven't started. You want to exhaust your battery. Joge nga si office bi, you have one memory card, 32 gig memory card. Delete low files in nekon si memory card bi. You did not delete your files. Memory card bi was almost full. Defuloo li nga wara def. Why dem nga besi feel bi. And there is content on the memory card. Let's say demba si gudi, I'll give typical example. Last night, Fat Samba and Ida and Adama Sow were shooting a project at the J Live studio. They came, they could have been very tired. They didn't delete those files and copy which files is bopam. Now, one of you, the files are in the camera. One of you just comes and pick up those files, that camera, and then get them defc production. You go all the way to the field only to realize that, oh, there are files here. This memory card only has about less than 1 gigabyte available, which means do not shoot even more than 20 minutes. And you want to cover an event for 2 hours. What will you do?
Mr. Joof, good afternoon. How long is this going to take you? I want to air this thing on YouTube, so I don't know how soon you guys are going to conclude your
10 more minutes.
10 more minutes.
10 more
right?
minutes. Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes. So what should you do?
Alassane.
Yes. What should you do?
Léegi booba da ngay call si office bi su nekkee ne gars yi air nañ ko nga laajte leen su nekkee air nañ ko su nekkee ne air wuñ ko tamit nga pour koo xamante ni su nekkee am na ku fa nekka mu indil la beneen nga use boobu noonu su nekkee ne ojen la nag nga xamante ni soo naree yónnee foofu noonu dafa jël time te mun nga los kooku noonu I think it's better nga delete ko rek nga interview ko.
Well, one ala ne la delete guñ project bi is a very important project and copy wuñ ko sax copy wuñ ko ñoom dañ ñëw ñu ngi sona egsi wuñ ci office bi till like 2 a.m. or 1:30 a.m. So guy living naguñ. So and you can only have about 20 minutes content, but you are covering a 2-hour event.
Mr. Joof.
Booba den ko danga dellu rek bale nga lii ko los ko.
Mr. Joof,
Mr. Joof.
Uh-huh. Yes.
yeah, danga have lu gëna important bi su jotee nga toog a jël loolu.
Who is talking?
Salimatu.
Okay, yeah, announce your name always. You say what?
I said when you realize that there's not enough space in the memory card, you should always prioritize and take the most important thing.
Tàccul leen ko waay suma pol bi tey deretam a ngi tànga de. Ne ko suma pol bi deretam a ngi tànga de. Yes, the topic of discussion is what?
Prioritize.
Prioritizing, exactly. And that's the right word that Salima to use. I had a gentleman's voice who wanted to say something.
I want to
Dama la
say
ignore because man tepe ñoy suma xarit.
no, look one lola bugona wasa.
Ay dégg ko nag kii kan la ni who is talking? Dégg mu ne lu mu bëgg a wax loolu la. Dégg because war naa ñu tàccul ko mu ngi ut bës Aïssatou Koli wala na ko mu ngi ut bës moom tamit. In fact, because Aïssatou Koli daf la wala te mu ne li mu bëggoon a wax nga wax. So kon Salimatu, does that mean ne yow tamit da nga Google loolu? Yow tamit óolootuma la da nga Google yow tamit óoluma la. Ah? Baax na daal. Well, there are folks watching on YouTube. Karamba Dabo said, may Allah guide and protect you, Pa Usman. Pila, you are doing great. We are just trying. We need to invest on the young people, and this is important. It's important that we serve the country. Ñu bari dañ dee wax ne Gambian journalists yi dañ modde Gambian journalists yi xamuñ dara. It's the training that we lack, both the theory and the practicals. And for those of you at Gambian Talents, xanaa yéen ñu def li leen neex de waaye du ngeen ne amuleen training bi. You would not say ko alman training soto. Just like I told you guys last week, you can take the horse to the river, but you can't do what? Exactly. We'll make sure we give you the necessary training you need, the necessary tools. Now it's left for you to see if you will apply it or not. If folks watch you like they are watching right now and you don't deliver, you don't apply these principles, it's on you. You've been taught the theory and you will be given the opportunity to do the practicals. We allow you to make mistakes on the platforms and fix it. So what was I saying? Thank you, Abubakar Jalo. Say, Mashallah, Gambian Talents TV. Thanks. So, what answer did Salima to give? If you only have 20 minutes on your memory card, less than 1 gigabyte, and you are supposed to cover a 2-hour event, what did Salima to say you should do?
Prioritizing the most important.
Yes. So instead of nganeka fufu, guy and feature, yes, feature amna solo. Somebody is supposed to give a speech. I would rather save the memory card until it comes in, until timey speech bijot. Whatever is the most important part of that event. Fonga prioritize ko. Number 2, what you can, because content bisi camera bi, then ko wara na delete. But first and foremost, before nga dem si bopam, before nga gina si office bi nga waro na set sa memory card, instead of nga ñew rek grab yobu camera bi, you should be able to ask, you should be able to see, to read that you are taking a virgin memory card. You are taking a memory card that doesn't have any content on it. You are taking a camera that is fully charged. Bo xamne amna batteries, amna memory card, amna charger, yobu nga sa lights, yobu nga everything, fate wulo dara. You should be able to prioritize to see what you are going to do. Some of you come in, you are very obsessed with the Canon camera, or you are obsessed with the Sony camera, you are obsessed with the 4K camera, yes, you can be. But to fake ne ñew nga ngene da nga use 4K camera bi to go do a production. Like Cesar want to do Chabahal or her celeb crib, and we have another project boo xam ne ñu ngi ko war a def live te moom show bi is a pre-recorded show, and this is like a state event or whatsoever. Instead of Sisao insisting that if I use the 4K camera, we will have to prioritize it. We will have to do some prioritization there. So Sufeke na yangi dem fofu nono, one of the things you can do is try to get content from your colleagues. You are there. I mean, so buge joge fofu as Alasan was suggesting, ne danga ñew be ci office bi pour ñew jël ci sa benen memory card. Hana event bi dula raw. Yes. So fekkene you have your own car si bopam. If you are in Birkama covering an event, yobu nga memory card bobu is 20 minutes content nga si muna jël. Bala nga joge felene le be delu si wat is 4:50 and the event should start at 5 o'clock. Ndax yow mun nga see dem Westfield delu si wat. The event bi dañoo tok di la xaar be yow nga ñew. Therefore, you should prioritize and not capture some of the content. Nga wax ak sa colleagues yi yeneen fellow journalists yi ak media house yi fa nekk if possible and see if they can share content with you su ko defee nga mun a ñëw footage bi nga xam ne amuloo ko soo paree nga jël ko si ñoom then nga indi ko wala nga yóoni kenn wala nga wax office bi ñu indi la kenn instead of yow nga bàyyi foofu noonu ne da ngaa dellu si you can send the office to actually believe you to bring you a memory card. And these things have happened. Maimuna Jaju, are you the one that did this when you guys went to, was it Fonyi Bese?
Yes, yes.
You are the one that came back to the office, right?
No, I came back to the airport and met someone.
You came to the airport, right? Explain that story. I think it's relative to what we are doing. What happened?
When we reached at Bese, first we covered the Juma prayers. And also some of the prayers that they were doing and how the women were cooking the nyelengo and other stuff. So in the evening, around 5, I think, when we were relaxing at Science House, he gave me fare and told me to go and meet with Sam at the airport to give her the guidance because they have to air these ones.
Yes. That's typical example of prioritizing, right?
Yes.
So yow yaa ngi toog ci xam-xam bi yëpp because nga ne da nga xiif rek may mun a moo tax nga noppi yaa ngi toog ci xam-xam bi ndax dinaa la toon léegi def la séeréer yeah, but it's important that you apply this. I am appreciative and humbled by the comments that people are putting. Sally B is watching on YouTube and said achievement is never an easy thing, but commitment makes it all worthwhile. Well done, Pa Usman, with your dedicated members of staff. Ci barke weeri koor bi yàlla may leen yokkute inshallah jërëjëf waay. Abubakar Jallo said if somebody wants to support, how can they support you? At this minute, Mr. Jallo and all of you watching, the young people over there right now needs computers. Demba rek lañ ma ko mujjee wax. They need more computers, especially the editors. You can see Koto Munge Sheikh Bopam Bisa, they need computers. I mean, to be able to do editing. I send computers to them. It's not enough. Yesterday, if you look at the team, we have over like 40 something people or 30 something who showed up. I mean, they come in there, they want to do the classes. This project is bigger than Pa Usman now, as I said. So if any of you has a computer that you can donate or you can get us some money to buy computers in Gambia, we need it. You can send it to Fatu Samba or our accountant Babukar in Gambia. Abubakar Sise or Fatu Samba is the name. 78333524 is the number. 78333524. If anybody contributes, you are doing it for the young people. I am very passionate about it. Motamadox Manelaobi is almost 6 a.m. Fimnekani, just to make sure that I provide them with the skills and the knowledge that they need. So it's a collective effort, and Mr. Joof cannot do it alone. So I applaud all of you for actually applauding me and recognizing my efforts. Wow, Gora wai dina yoka wai Gora. So thank you guys very much. I'm appreciative and humbled. Aissatou Jallow needs the gadgets. Bala mo ñew teggi buntam ye palanteram yi. So we wrap up. Any questions, comments, concerns from you guys?
Mr. You.
So you wait.
Alessandra.
Okay, go on.
Yes, Alasan. Slim by the force, as if you're our wax.
But I was about to talk and then he interjected. But we can still
Okay,
go on.
Gis nga bu
Alasan, go ahead.
keroog dañ doon dem benn so bu navia bi Tambambalu.
Tambambalo ak Nabia.
Waaw.
Tachul len ko way newest co-host, huh?
Léegi
Nabia is persistent mu call ma ne ma Mr Joof suma show bi dama bëgg def Tambambalu dama interview Jane Joof ma ne ko Nabia pare nga mu ne waaw bala maa waxa Nabia pare sax at 2 am la ma call bi na corrections am yëpp ba send ma ko ne ma xoolal suma corrections yi. Unfortunately, I couldn't look at the corrections. Guess what? She didn't wait for me. She went ahead to do her show. So I'm proud of her for that.
Money, the one that
He didn't look at my section, but I went on and do my
money, the one that correct.
And guess what? I hit 3K.
Who is talking? Who is talking? Hmm?
Salibatu Jalo.
Loo wax nii ba pare.
Money. Dama la seen suma question suma service. Gisuloo chekuloo ko de waaye def naa show bi. And I hit 3K. You should congratulate me now.
Non yéen Aïssatou Koli daf leen wala yéen ñëpp ci Oud Buzz. Daf leen wala yéen ñëpp ci Oud Buzz. I'm proud of you, huh?
Thank you.
Alassane, continue.
So léegi balaa ñu dem si show bi. Dama xool batterie yi waaye check naa 4 batteries yoo xamante ni charging ko yëpp ñu ngi empty.
Okay.
Léegi ma checkaat beneen batterie bi boobu fekkee mu ngi am 67 beneen bi 25 so yooyu lañ mujjee yóbbu sax percent because fekk yàlla yëpp ñu ngi empty.
So this is why it is important. Okay, go ahead.
So bëgg nañ daal képp koo xamante ni pour nga jàppale ñu si gars yi képp koo xamante ni dem na su ñibbisee mu lii naka la sax mu copie memory card bi ba pare su ko copier mu delete ko ba pare tamit batterie si na fexe mu charge ko na make so charge nañ koy pare.
A very good point. And this is why what's your name again, Sadamade Fate, the videographer guy?
Alassane.
What they did, the other guy. What's his name again? Parlamin, yes. Parlamin, yes, it's this is why it is important that we are all on the same page and we have these classes. Because we and also to attend the Wednesday meeting, because we will be able to discuss the things that are affecting the institution. What Alassane is saying is very important. Imagine you have about 5 to 6 batteries, as he's saying 4 were not charged, and one has 67%, the other one 25%. Lol, dafa delay in production, see, and it's not okay. So it should be a best practice and a good habit for each and every one of you to make sure that so they may coverage lo ya kamti don't just come ye bagasul be landije, you leave everything there for them. Make sure that you charge the batteries, make sure that you copy your memory cards. This is best practice because you spend so much time to put this content together. Got them 2 hours, 3 hours, neka ci traffic bi def lu neka ñaxa a Gambia num mété jolof nim taité nga ñew ami ku gëna pain sa morom ngene kila ngeen def all the struggle only to come and that content being deleted. It happened here a lot of times. We had content that have been deleted on so many times. People do their shoes fok na ñoo fi toj ñu ñew ana show bi gisuñ ko because somebody deleted it. Show ñi ne maaje modo ya delete. But you also take it upon yourself to make sure that you copy your memory card, you save it on one of the hard drives, you label it right. All of that is important. You charge the batteries. Election you sohlawat ko dina yomba pour yow. And yen journalists, you have a responsibility to equally remind your camera work, and that's why we always say it is a teamwork. If the camera person forgets, you remind them. You make sure that they copy it because yen la neka sen show bi. Yen yena appear before the camera, yena neka si kanami camera bi. Alto lebe camera nyato. Yo ya dem Mariama Fati ñu yaxa sa kanam. nga gis àdduna bi yëpp gis la soo demee jeytes ñu yaaxa sa kanam mu ne du sangu 2 days makeup bi daf ko fa bàyyi mbaa clean na ko sax mu ne du clean makeup bi 2 days so suñu yaaxee sa kanam you want the world to see that. So therefore, you have a responsibility to remind them to actually copy it and make sure the batteries are charged. If this was on a Thursday night and Isato Koli is supposed to do a show on Friday morning, she suñu du fa fekk ben show, du fa fekk ben defin batteries for whatsoever. So Lolula, any other questions, comments, concerns? Thank you, Alasan, for bringing that to our attention.
Yes, Alasan did said that yesterday, and we addressed that because it happens to me when I went with the ministry for one of their coverages, and I went with Salih Fusayo. I think it's Fusayo, yeah. So Seku was filming, so I was writing down the notes, and he came and said, the batteries are almost done. And unfortunately, when we were going, there was.
Alasan, turn the camera to the person talking, please.
It's me. No, you know I am talking. So since I was there writing, and then and he came and said, "Can I delete this thing and this thing?" So I realized that a lot of things that was in the camera were already aired on both Facebook and YouTube because I keenly follow the page. So I know the projects that are normally aired and then that are normally not aired. So when he told me that, I was like, this one is aired, this one is aired. So he then deleted the projects. So when I came, I told Fat Sama about it because I wanted them to address the issue as well. Because normally, for example, if you went to the State House and the President Aaron Barrow is talking, and then the camera just went off, and then what he's saying is important because at the end of the day, he's the one that is addressing, and then we need whatever that the president is saying. So I think it is also important for camera person and journalists to work together. And also, if you know that your project is already been copied and then you edited the project, it's aired. It's simple that you went back to the camera and then you deleted the project so that the next person to use it will not have that difficulty whenever he or she went to the field.
Teamwork makes dream work.
Yeah.
And then what? You said and.
Okay. And the other thing is with regards to.
Are you looking on Google?
No. I always have things that I just done. So we're supposed to talk about media laws. That's what we said. I am late. I understand. I take the blame. So
why are you bringing it up if you are late? Because I asked the class and they cannot even remember.
I wanted to bring it up so that you
I will have a separate meeting with you afterwards.
Mr.
I will have a separate meeting with you afterwards.
Okay,
but text me that. I told you to text me during the week so that I can arrange with Stay Balance so that we can have him as a guest lecturer to talk about media laws. It's very important that you guys know the laws that are governing you as journalists. Ngeen xam li leen war, li leen warut, meññantaal ma, meñ ma ñangal ma fan ngeen tolu lan ngeen wara def, lan ngeen warta def, lan la loi bi wax ci seen liggéey bi. It's important that you know about the media laws. So I would definitely have to schedule that, but you need to remind me during the week so that I can arrange it. Right?
That's fine.
Yes. Do we have more people anyway in the class now?
Today?
When we started, yes, we had about 12, 13 people. Did more people come in?
Yeah, Kurubali was here, but she went out. And Hazali. They had a project, and then I just told them to go do the project.
No, okay. So some people went to the field. Okay. All right. Any other question, comment, or concern?
Yes, Mr. Joof.
Mm-hmm. Who is talking?
It's Tijan Badi.
Okay, Tijan.
I want to know, since you initiated the institution, the first name that you have given the institution for naming it as Gambian Talent.
You say what's the question?
I mean, I want to know the actual name that you have, the first name that you have named this institution before renaming it as Gambian Talent, because I have learned that this institution is being named before you change the name to Gambian Talent Promotion.
No, who
Second,
told you it's been renamed?
yes, I got that from the Minister of Transport yesterday.
Yeah.
He said you have the name for Gambian Talent Promotion according to him. Bagari Bali, Honorable.
No, maybe he's talking about what I used to do. You know, the minister, he's a colleague of mine. We did a lot of things together as youth workers back in the days. Yeah, back then. It's not like he's a minister and we respect the position, but you heard him calling me Paos, Paos, Paos all along. He would not even call you guys are calling me Mr. Joof. Munge richale adabe kana kan kumandi Paos la. He used to be a youth worker. I used to be a youth worker. We met in a lot of conferences, in a lot of places, and the like. So back then, I had a non-profit called Youth in Development and Change, YIDAC, Youth in Development and Change. Maybe most of you are young then, you might not know. But yes, I established it with my colleagues back in the days, and it used to be a very powerful youth organization. And it's through YIDAC that I came to the US in 2004, like I said to you guys yesterday. So it used to be YIDAC. We had a lot of programs and projects we used to do. So when I came, Gambian Talents Promotion was established by myself and Ibunjai. He's another Gambian in Dallas, Texas. And he was a big DJ there. When I used to manage Singate Freaky Joe, we were supposed to do a tour, and we both realized that there was a need to set up an institution through which we can promote our talents and culture, and as well connect Gambians in the diaspora with what was happening back home. That was the driving force for us to actually come up with Gambian talents. So we came up with few names though: Gambian stars, Gambian talents, Gambian celebrities, Gambian public figures. We have about 6, 7 names. And the name that stood out the most was Gambian Talents Promotion. And that is how the name came about.
Okay,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
asking.
And then the question based on the particular discussion that we are having. Um, you mentioned something like you have been having an interview, live interview with somebody who left the office because of your criticism, because of the critical question that you have been pushing to the person. So he does not want to attend to that. Okay, I want to know, since the person left, what did, how do you, what have you done? What is your option? I want to know. In case I
That's 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 a very important question. These
thank
things
you.
happen all the time, and that is where the things I teach you come into place. What topic did we discuss week before last?
Improvise.
That's exactly what I did. I improvise. Week before last, we talked about improvisation. I improvise. I told you when we were talking about improvisation, I talked about my interview with Oh Boy when I was interviewing him under line cutoff. I wanted to interview him on video. We did the yard stream, he couldn't figure it out. We did the Zoom, he couldn't figure it out. I ended up having just an audio interview with him. That's improvising. In the middle of it, the thing cut off. I continued doing my analysis and reviews. It's the same thing I did. And guess what? When Musa Ali Bachili did it, I was interviewing him. I was very critical. He could not handle it. He stepped out and walked out of the room. By the time he was walking out, I was making my analysis and reviews. I said, Gambians, now this is the type of person who wants to be your leader. This is the person who wants to lead you. If he cannot handle an interview, what makes you think this guy can run a country? He came right back and sat on the chair. Watch that interview. Watch it. Dem len ngeen seetaan ko. Bi ma waxee loolu ne kii mu ne moo bëgg a nekk seen président. Kii nga xam ne interview sax mënut koo handle. Léegi kii moo war a dem represent leen in international conferences. Kii moo leen war a represent ci àdduna bi everywhere. Kii moo bëgg a nekk seen jiit. Ku munta handle interview. And he came and said, my brother, don't say that. Don't say that, my brother. Munyo to continue interview am German and
That's very good.
That's very good.
right?
Yeah.
But he walked out. He was gonna walk out. Just a few weeks ago, Fatsamba told me he met her and said, Yen Gambian talent, Yen Kendulen your interview, Yen Kendulen, you are very dangerous. Right? But that's it. When Jaimane, he never came back though, but I still did my analysis and said what I had to say and continued my show. And then later I closed the show. So you have to do your reviews, you have to do your analysis, you have to get your facts. Last week, what did we talk about?
Research and what comes with the job.
Yes, doing research. So as you can see, the week before last, we talked about improvising. Last week, we talked about doing research and the importance of doing research and how to do research. Today, we are here talking about prioritizing and how you should prioritize and what you should prioritize. So JAB topics, yep, they are all linked and interrelated. And once we do it right, Dinga Gisne, you will be a perfect, if you are not a perfect journalist, you will be very close to being perfect, or you will be a very good journalist, at least be able to compete locally as well as internationally. So thank you guys very much. Aissatou Jallow have to use the gadgets. Any last question? Can I have one or two last questions or comments? How are you top wax ji?
Wow.
Yaa ngi comprendre?
Wow.
Suñ la dugalee ci terrain bi di nga dóor mu daanu.
Wow.
Loolu nga wax de.
Wow.
Baax na. Yes. Somebody else wanted to say something?
Mr. Joof, I want to talk to you.
You want to do what?
I want to talk to you about something. Bintu Singa.
Hey, Bintu, after all this while, you still want to talk to me, Bintu. Bintu ngeen mari yerem de, da ngeen mari tojo bi lay. It's exactly 6:03 a.m. 6:03 a.m. Betay da ngeen ma bëgg a téyewaat, you still want to talk to me, Bintu. Doyaluloo. Me pasi follow. Tuma affaire doyalaguloo.
I don't know the comment.
Mr. Joof, try me
I don't
question there. You will reply.
Bari ngi jaabile no ye message you meant to me. I replied you though. I told you yes, I did. Okay. All right. Next person who wants to say something.
Mr. Joof,
Yes.
my text WhatsApp dele reply.
Allah.
Then when I want to use the reply message, my mama did not give a shit. My text WhatsApp dele.
Alam nga reply, alam nga text ni. It's been a while. Is it been a while? Have you all been told that I do better with Messenger than WhatsApp?
Yeah.
Yes. With WhatsApp boy, I have like all these political parties. Nyung mabole si sen WhatsApp group. I am into from UDP to DOI to APRC to PPP, GDC. Ñom ñep mang si sen WhatsApp group si. Musicians yep ku si nekk. Ay ñom Kingdom Kanute. Ay ñom Union ST. ñoom ñëpp musician ci ku gën a pain sa morom ngeen kii la ñoom ñëpp a ngi amee WhatsApp group ñu ngi ma si boole I'm okay with it because man maa nekk ci field bi I'm working so daf dee tax hard and so many people even while I'm having this meeting people are calling me on WhatsApp so it's important that ngeen understand I do much better with Messenger right so send me a message on Messenger su dee yaa ngi fa if not naam dama dee lan kookaan la mu ne ma ko dee reply fan WhatsApp waa ndoy man nobu ma ko di man wanaal ne man ndoya far di wanaal ne ma ci ya waaye am nga ñoom dañ dee follow up the thing is bàyyi leen rëy gi wàññi leen rëy gi yéen booy paako yi wàññi leen rëy gi ñoom dañoo follow up right dañoo follow up waaye yow maybe soo seenee benn message Mr Joof tontuwul rek nga également nga ajuma hay bàyyi loolu Mr Joof mu ngi cool hay kii bàyyi loolu nga nekk si yeneen at least seen follow up su dul dara sax duma leen dee ignore intentionally though I don't ignore anybody intentionally I will respond accordingly but su ma jógee ma gis sa message and I prioritize sometimes ma gis 1,000 messages based on what is most urgent, what is most important. It talks about it DNA ma ibiko and that's it. Mun naa jóg sama ibi ko wala maa ngi def class ma ibi something obviously mënuma tontu boromam waaye su ma paree I might be able to so yooyu yëpp ñu ngi si but duma leen dee ignore okay.
So what about those who don't have WhatsApp? Messenger.
Yes, you can still ko amul yaay nampa maam ñu jàpp ci WhatsApp bi rek. It doesn't mean ne duma dee respond to WhatsApp though. Kookan la. Kañ nga ne aaduma la messenger. When did you send me a message? Recently? Jaga na tuuti. I'm not Bintu Singate. Was it Bintu Singate? No, not Bintu Singate. Who did to her? Bintu Singate did it.
I text you.
Seen soxla rek ngeen xam kii naka la tuddaati sax Mariama Fati. Moo def show barki démba rek mu text ma Mr. Joof def naa suma show bi I did my show please watch it and give me feedback. Boss la doon wóor moo tax mu doon ma send message depuis kañ mu ngi fi almost 7 months waaye bi mu bigee boss rek si la doon text Mr. Joof messenger te yaaga naa leen koo wax right. So she wasn't my friend but I saw it
Sahale, you're gonna book a boss. It's just that me, I said to call anything that I am, that they're the why Hale, me, follow again. Show the camera on them, not me. Let me see you. We don't have feedback. Follow again. Follow again. You're gonna book a boss. Look at say no. Mr. Joof, I'm gonna hold.
Okay. Well, Aissatou Jallow dafa soxla bagage pour con air something. So any questions, comments or concerns? What did I tell you guys to watch?
Your interview with Bachili.
And also his interview with Bachili and Diamani.
Yes, I said Bachili and Jaimane. You can watch it and you will learn a lot from those two interviews and how critical they were. And you also watch Fatou Samba's interview with the First Lady and how creative we were. Ben mujjee ko am. So for those of you who think okay, then you fay xaalis si loolu, nada, nothing, dara. It was not a PR job or anything. I mean, it's just a coincidence, but it was not a PR job. So, any other questions, comments? Thank you, guys. Any questions, comments?
Thank you very much, sir. It was an interactive session.
All right, good. Good. Thank you very much. And thank you. Thank you to those of you watching as well, okay? Bye.